Hey guys, it's Public back with another video, and today we're continuing our new series on the legendaries that we have access to as a Shadow Priest in Shadowlands. Today we're kicking it off with the Eternal Call to the Void legendary. This is a kind of a throwback legendary for any of you Shadow Priests that started or played in Legion. This used to be an artifact trait. So let's talk about what's good about this legendary, what's fun to play with, and maybe some things we can improve about it or suggest a Blizzard to fix. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so the Eternal Call to the Void legendary, it's been called many things since they've added it. It used to be an artifact trait in Legion. So what this does is basically Mind Flay gives you a chance to spawn a Void Tendril that also channels Mind Flay at your target for 15 seconds and then generates 3 Insanity when it deals damage. So it's effectively just spawning Mind Flay clones at your target. So this is particularly great for single target because it's effectively just giving us more Insanity, which means more Devouring Plague, which is just honestly awesome. Now the problem with this legendary, which we'll get into in a bit, is that it only works on Mind Flay, right? It doesn't work on Mind Seer at all, which really stinks because you know, it kind of makes it dead on AoE, right? If you're fighting more than 3 targets with this, it's just no longer going to be useful. Now, what's interesting about that, though, is I've done sims to test this. Currently, right now, without this legendary, you currently swap to using Mind Seer over Mind Flay at 2 targets, right? Now, when you're using this legendary, it actually pushes that out a little bit. So instead of swapping at 2 targets, you now swap at 3 targets with this legendary. This is particularly important for a couple of reasons. One, changes our rotation, which is interesting. And 2, this is actually saying that it's better to, you know, kind of cater towards the damage of this guy rather than maybe Dark Thought procs or Mind Seer damage, whatever else that is, purely because of how strong this legendary is and how often it's getting procs and all that good stuff. Now, that's just from a sim perspective. There is a very good argument, I think, in my opinion, where, you know, it is RNG, right? It is an RPPM effect. Right now, that is scaling with haste. So as we get more haste, you get more procs of these, theoretically. And that's just great. We always love haste, which is awesome. Now, again, the problem, though, is that it does change the rotation a little bit, I guess. But in reality, we're mostly just liking this because it does a lot of flat damage. And then also we get the Insanity, which is nice. And that Insanity part is the best part about this. For sure, you get more Devouring Plagues. That can't be bad at all. Right, so that's the TLDR of what this legendary is. Let's go into what I think we could do to make it a little bit better. Okay, so according to the Sims, this right now is one of our better legendaries, so it's going to be kind of weird me talking into the wind about what to do to make it better in my opinion, but I think it needs to do something different to make it a bit more viable in an AoE situation. A lot of our spells these days are either Mind Flay or Mind Seer. I just don't like it. I think the fact that we can get Dark Thought prots on AoE with Mind Seer or in single target with Mind Flay just makes it feel natural that this should also work that way. And that we can still proc tentacles using Mind Seer with this guy. Maybe those tentacles switch to casting Mind Seer instead if they're proc with Mind Seer. I feel like that would just be really fun and cool and make this legendary a bit more useful kind of universally. Because right now you could definitely, you know, I don't think you'd be wrong running this in almost every form of content. That's how good it is. But in dungeons, again, it's going to feel less impactful, which might be fine. Maybe this is supposed to be the single target legendary, which is okay. But as we'll get into in the rest of these videos, there's not a whole lot of AoE power in a lot of our legendaries. So I was kind of hoping they could change this a bit to fix that, but who knows. I'm actually a big fan of the Void Tendril legendary. I missed not having them in BFA. They were really fun to kind of see and play with in Legion. But the difference is, because they effectively just copy and pasted it over, you know, there, it wasn't a choice, right? You just got it as part of your artifact trait. But here, it's an actual choice, right? So this is competing with other legendaries, and I think because of that, it does need to be augmented a bit to actually work on Mind Seer in addition to Mind Flay. Just because, you know, even in Raiding Sanity, you're going to want to cast Mind Seer on 2+ targets, right? So changing that up is a little weird and a little awkward, so I hope they think about changing that. Because, man, I would be thrilled to use this legendary a lot, or as much as possible, just because I think Tendril is really cool. Now, does it give us a whole lot of interaction with our spec? No, not really. The Mind Flays that these guys do don't proc anything else. They're Mind Flays in and of themselves. They're independent of other things that they could proc or do whatever, which, you know, kind of stinks. It's expected, but, you know, I think otherwise it might be a little bit broken. But yeah, again, I think it's an interesting legendary. I love that they're coming back. I just think it needs a small tweak to work with Mind Seer. Maybe have them cast Mind Seer as well in order to kind of finish it off, guys. All right. So let me know what you guys think about this legendary. It's definitely my favorite of the ones that we have now, although it's not saying that much. Let me know if you're excited to run it, or maybe it's just me. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.